Hello, chat, and welcome. And hello. Okay, hold on. Wait. There we go. Okay. Hello, chat, and welcome to a brand new episode of the Roomba 5. We have we took a little break because one of our team members was not feeling. Just not feeling it, and when one of us is not feeling it, we don't want to be in the way of feeling better. So we decided to take a little break last week. But we're back, stronger than ever. So let's say hello to the third one. Hello, everyone.
Hello!
Hello!
Oh, wait, hold on. Wait, I just realized something. Pichu, you are blocking me now.
Oops.
Nope, wrong one.
Gotta shift bolt back over.
And making small again.
Small.
There we go.
Wait.
Alright, there we go. Hello! How are you all doing?
Hello there.
Fine weekend. I'm sorry. I totally didn't take a little nap, and then I was like, I want to take more nap.
Little EP boy. Little EP boy.
Maybe.
EP little man.
Mayhaps.
EP little guy.
Okay, stop now. We can stop.
EP.
Oh no, I think, hold on, I think I need to, hold on, wait. Oh god damn it, I just realized I don't have a bonk here.
Uh-oh.
You don't have bonk here? Oh no.
I needed to bonk you
Oh
to
no, we don't
reset
have a
you.
bunk.
No percussive maintenance. Anyway.
Anyhow. We are here today. Ready to go.
Still EP.
I mean, yeah, I did wake up 18 minutes ago. Regardless. How's everyone's week?
Nate, you go first.
Mine's been good.
I think mine's been okay-ish as well. Nothing too major happened, so...
Ina? I assume she is busy right now.
Yeah.
Oh. Okay. Okay, hold on. Let me check that everyone is.
We're talking about how our weeks have been, so,
I'm not gonna share that.
Okay. Mine's been a
it-
little up and
it has
down.
been certifiably not great. And that's all we're gonna say on the matter.
Yep.
Moving on. Jimmy.
I mean, mine's been okay. Maybe except for the fact that my original controller just fucking died, and I had to get a new one. Everything else was fine.
Oof.
Yeah.
The end of
it
Jimmy
kinda...
Gaming
Yeah, that's an oof.
2.
What? Wait, what did you say, Meep? The end of Jimmy Gaming what?
Jimmy Gaming is over. Jimmy Gaming 2 has begun.
Jimmy Gaming 2 Electric Boogaloo. Alright, since we have a couple weeks of time from this, we have a lot of things to talk about. In the Roomba.
For the most part, we've actually been on top of it, and this week we don't have too much, but we do have a little bit of backlog that we were holding because Mina wasn't able to join us.
Yeah.
So let's start with history time.
Woo!
That time an earthquake burned San Francisco to the fucking ground.
I love this topic because right before the earthquake, I rewatched the Ask a Mortician video on it, right? It turns out the bubonic plague had already been in San Francisco like a year, a couple months prior to the San Francisco fire and the Great Earthquake.
This is the great this is the great 1906 San Francisco earthquake and fire. In which, as per the Wikipedia page, at about 5:12 Pacific Standard Time on Wednesday, April the 18th, 1906, the Northern California was struck by a major earthquake with an estimated magnitude of 7.9.
Which is destructive, and we are
Yeah.
terrified.
Is this the right one? Or is this a different one? Is the 1906 one the correct one we're thinking of, me, or is it the earlier one?
It is the 1906 one because the
Okay, yeah.
bubonic plague, or it might have been the earlier one, because the bubonic plague was between 1900 and 1904.
No, because the previous one's the one from the 1850s, and then it was
Okay,
different.
yeah, no, it was the 1906.
That's just a fire. This is the earthquake and fire.
Yes.
Yeah, because... yeah. So it's estimated to have been a 7.9 because this actually predates the Richter scale by a couple years.
It absolutely could have been higher than that.
Yeah. Between the earthquake and the fire, over 80% of the city was destroyed. Just gone.
As I mentioned, we'll go a little bit of a timeline here. So as I mentioned, 2 years prior to this, or 6 years prior to this, sorry, the bubonic plague had hit China again, and through those boats they went through Oahu, and a bubonic plague epidemic spread there, centering in Chinatown because immigrants and rats, right?
Yeah.
Rat
Yeah.
fleas.
There
was
California
such
had a lot of Chinese immigrants.
they were
which
not
was-
considered citizens.
No, because California likes to go off on how it was admitted to the Union as a free state, therefore it was definitely never racist ever, and it just ignores the fact that it was racist. It was just racist against Asians instead of black people.
Yeah. Asians and Mexicans.
Well, especially
Anyways.
Asians.
So
Especially the Chinese, but the Japanese got some of it too later.
eventually, yeah. So, they found bubonic plague in Oahu, and Oahu was in such a state of panic that they burned Chinatown to the ground, basically. And then those boats came to San Francisco because that was the next stop on their ports. And the government knew that there was plague coming from those boats most likely, but they cleared everyone anyways, and then bubonic plague entered into San Francisco's Chinatown. And because they had heard what had happened in Hawaii, they did not say anything when eventually cases of bubonic plague started to pop up, and their dead were starting to be left in the streets because nobody wanted to show off their sickness because burn their shit to the ground. Again, that's called foreshadowing. Also, it turns out that politicians denying epidemics is just America's pastime.
Yeah.
Because at the time, California's governor, Henry Gage, completely denied that the bubonic plague could exist in California, right? Because he didn't want to lose the loss of like any exports or tourism because of a quarantine.
Think of the economy.
Think of the economy, you know, never mind all of the practical slave labor we've got.
That's such
Chinese
an
people
American thing.
Mm-hmm. It's a-
The other thing that's very American whenever there's a major thing is people attempt to cure it via mass church services. It happened multiple times. Anyway.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Anyways, so also at the time, for whatever fucking reason, the bubonic plague was considered an Asian disease. It's not like it infamously killed almost half of Europe. No, it's exclusively a disease that will affect the Asians because they eat a lot of rice and white people don't.
White people only eat corn.
It's corn.
That will
big
cause
lump of
absolutely no problems whatsoever. It looks to the
Mhm.
south, where a diet of all corn did definitely cause problems.
Right.
I forget what it was called. But there was like some there's some illness that South had problems with due to their diet all being shit. I forget what it was called, but it was like in the vein of scurvy type thing, where it was some shortage of, I forget what it was, in their diet because their diet was all shit. But then someone found the solution to that was just mix brewer's yeast into bread, and boom, it went away.
Yeah.
Which was, I think the funniest part about that is it was discovered because he was trying to do some research on it with some dogs who got a version of it, but they wouldn't eat the food, so he put some on as flavoring, and then it just didn't come up. It's like, wow, I discovered it by accident. Anyway, back to the Great Earthquake.
Yeah.
Uh,
So, hold on. I'm almost at the end of the bubonic plague. So the first major surgeon that they had that was working for the U.S. government fired because he didn't identify the bubonic plague and because people wanted to deny that there was bubonic plague. So eventually they sent over this guy named Dr. Rupert Blue. And Rupert Blue eventually identified that where there are rats, there is bubonic plague. So he became an infamous rat catcher. Basically, he would pay like a nickel per male rat that was killed or captured alive, and then a dime for every female. And then they managed to get the rat population in Chinatown pretty good, and they managed to roll out a vaccine that he eventually gained enough trust in Chinatown to take. However, because the other people outside of Chinatown did not believe they could get bubonic plague, didn't believe in the bubonic plague, and just didn't give a shit, they didn't do the same thing. And then, in 1906...
Oh god, the bubonic plague.
And they still got the bubonic plague, and that's when they started giving a shit. When white people started getting the fucking plague again. And then they got hit by the earthquake.
Brings us to the earthquake.
I got it to the earthquake.
Yeah. The most widely accepted estimate for the magnitude of the quake on the modern Richter scale is 7.9, though values between 7.7 to as high as 8.3 have been proposed by some scholars. Which is certified big boy levels of oh no. Yeah. Shaking was felt from Oregon to Los Angeles and as far inland as central Nevada.
It was a massive fucking quake. It seems like it's one of those quakes that can make the earth unalign out of its axis for a little bit.
Yeah, so basically, for the Europeans, it was felt as far away as an entire France.
What? What?
Roughly.
Americans use anything but kilometers.
I was about to say,
Yeah.
Americans using everything as measurement except kilometers, bro. Oh my god.
Can
Look,
you
Americans
really
use metric
quantify
for
the-
one thing, and that's the diameter of bullets. And even then, only sometimes.
Listen, Jimmy, if we had given you a number of kilometers away, would you really be able to, like, picture that?
I would have probably Googled it. Which I am doing right
Well,
now.
Say,
Well,
it's easier to just say a France away, because you can picture a France.
well, it's not like the Wikipedia page I'm reading from lists an exact distance.
551,695 kilometers square. That's wrong. That's probably 551.695 kilometers square.
That still don't mean shit to me. Like, an entire France makes more impact to me visually and mentally than the number. I don't know what it is. It's just that visual imagery.
Here's an actual number given. The actual fault line rupture that caused the earthquake. The fault line itself propagated northwards and southwards for a total of 476 kilometers.
Gee.
That was the size of the actual earthquake. Not how far away the shaking was felt, that was the size of the quake itself.
Jesus Christ.
That went far. Damage.
So,
Early death counts ranged from 375 to over 500. However, hundreds of fatalities in Chinatown went ignored and uncounted. We're back to shitting on the Chinese.
Bruh.
The
and
total
then
number of deaths is still
immediately after
uncertain,
this quake,
but various reports presented a range of 700 to 3,000 plus. In 2005, the city's Board of Supervisors voted unanimously in support of a resolution written by some novelist and city historian to recognize the figure of 3,000 plus as the official total. Most of the deaths occurred within San Francisco, but 189 were reported elsewhere in the San Francisco Bay Area, in nearby cities such as Santa Rosa and San Jose, which also suffered damage. In Monterey County, the earthquake permanently shifted the course of the Salinas River near its mouth. Where previously the river emptied into the Monterey Bay between 2 points, it was diverted 6 miles south to a new channel just north of a new spot.
Man, you didn't have to word it that way.
immediately after this quake and the aftershocks that come with it, I need you guys to remember that aftershocks are also a big factor of why earthquakes are so dangerous.
Mm-hmm.
Just when you think you're safe and the earthquake has passed, bam, you're hit by another one.
Yeah, but they're
And
smaller in
an
scale,
earthquake
if I recall, right?
Earthquakes always
This
falling.
big, aftershocks can also be pretty sizable.
So, because of these aftershocks and the bursting of gas mains all over, in
We'll
3
get to that.
days. Oh, we're getting to that? All right, go for it.
I'm just reading the Wikipedia page for now. Between 227,000 and 300,000 people were left homeless out of a population of 410,000. So 3/4 of the city were left homeless.
And that was before the fire.
Yeah. The earthquake and fire, blah blah blah. Fires! As damaging as the earthquake and its aftershocks were, the fires that burned out of control afterwards are far more destructive. It's been estimated that up to 90% of the total destruction was the result of the subsequent fires. Within 3 days, over 30 fires caused by ruptured gas mains destroyed approximately 25,000 buildings over 490 city blocks. The fires cost an estimated $350 million in 1906 money, equivalent to $8.9 billion in 2023.
Now that's a lot of money. And that's a lot of damage.
Yeah, it's a lot of damage. So if you were not killed by the initial earthquake, you're killed by the ensuing fire. It's almost as comical as this man from Pompeii who survived the initial eruption but did not survive the falling debris. It's in images right now.
You want me to share it?
If you want.
that is funny.
It looks like he got bombed.
He did get
That
bombed.
looks like the
after
victim of Wile E. Coyote.
Yeah, basically.
After
That's
the eruption.
Some of the fires were started when San Francisco Fire Department firefighters, untrained in the use of dynamite, attempted to demolish buildings to create fire breaks. The dynamited buildings often caught fire. The city's fire chief, who would have been responsible for coordinating firefighting efforts, had died from his injuries sustained in the initial quake. So the firefighters were without leadership and were attempting to create fire breaks because this is a pre-fire hydrant society. Instead, set more fires because they just started blowing shit up. In total, the fires burned for 4 days and nights.
Jeez.
Most of the destruction in the city was attributed to the fires, since widespread practice by insurers was to indemnity San Francisco properties from, but not Let me read. The point is, the insurers would not pay for earthquake damage, but would pay for fire damage. So some owners began setting fire to damaged properties intentionally in order to claim the insurance.
Which I don't know why they wouldn't have insurance for earthquakes.
Well,
but
no,
I
because
guess
the
this
insurance
is
companies
why
refuse to do
instead
it.
of Giving earthquake insurance,
The insurance companies refuse to do it.
bitches.
A captain in the U.S. Army Signal Corps reported that he was, quote, stopped by a fireman who told me that people in the neighborhood were firing their houses. They were told that they would not get their insurance on buildings damaged by the earthquake unless they were damaged by fire, end quote. Response. City's fire chief was killed. Basically, this is the whole response, and then the reaction, which basically did huge policy reactions to. Political and business leaders strongly downplayed the effects of the earthquake, fearing loss of outside investment in the city.
I believe
Nothing's changed.
nothing has absolutely changed. And then because there was such a vast majority of people who have been displaced because of these massive quakes and these intense fires, you know, they would set up camp, and usually in groups. Do you want to know what happens when you usually have camps of people, usually in groups?
Diseases.
That, but it's mostly because there's garbage all over the place, because there's nowhere to get rid of it. And then you know what garbage attracts?
Rats.
Rats. It was rats. Shout out Caitlin Doty. Because of the massive amount of rats and rat fleas, bubonic plague started spreading all over again. Even though they had it under control by 1904.
The army built 5,610 quote relief houses to accommodate 20,000 displaced people. Basically, they started building sheds to house people to try and get things under control, and there's apparently a few of them that have been preserved.
Can we get an image of that?
Here is a picture from the Wikipedia of a pair of restored relief sheds. They're built of redwood and fir wood.
Ah. You said fur, I was like, huh?
Fir tree, F-I-R.
Don't know now.
They were rented. They were rented out for $2 a month until rebuilding was completed.
People don't got
They were
money for that.
They were painted navy blue, partly to blend in with the site, and partly because the military had large quantities of navy blue paint on hand.
I wonder why.
So yeah. At
The
some
$2
point,
monthly rent went towards the full purchase price of $50.
God damn.
So once you rented them until you paid $50, it was then yours. Damn.
God, I wish we had that still.
And what would that be in?
$500.
Okay.
Oh.
More than
In modern day, that would be. I'm googling it. That would be. About $70.
Oh.
God, I wish we had that.
Would be about just under $70. It would be $69.79 in today's
Nice.
money.
$69.
According to the first thing, insurance payments. Insurance companies faced with the staggering claims of $250 million, paid out between $235 million and $265 million on policyholders' claims, often for fire damage only, since the damage from earthquakes was excluded from coverage under most policies. At least 137 insurance companies were directly involved and another 17 as reinsurers. 20 companies went bankrupt.
Ooh.
It was indeed.
Gold transfers from European insurance companies to policyholders in San Francisco led to a rise in interest rates. After the 1906 earthquake, global discussion arose concerning a legally flawless exclusion of earthquake hazards from fire insurance contracts. It was pressed ahead by many reinsurers that aim a uniform solution to insurance paths. On August 1st, 1909, the California Senate enacted the California Standard Form of Fire Insurance Policy, which did not contain an earthquake clause. Thus, the state decided that insurers would have to pay again if another earthquake was followed by fires. Other earthquake-endangered countries followed the Californians. So basically, this caused earthquakes to be covered by insurance too.
I see.
So people would stop burning down their own homes afterwards to make sure they get. But yeah, and then that inspired the San Francisco city flag, which is terrible. Actually, I'm gonna post San Francisco city flag. This is, I shit you not, the actual flag of the city of San Francisco. It is so bad.
It's a bird burning.
It's supposed to be like a phoenix.
Bruh.
It's supposed, but it's a yellow. It's a white field with a yellow border, like it's National Geographic. It's got a low poly phoenix that looks like an eagle, and then it's a bunch of words, including the word San Francisco. They're going after California flag. They have to write California on it. Which is honestly the only problem with the California flag, is that they had to write California on it. Other than that, it's good.
In addition to that, we got more cases of plague. We had to get, now at this time, Surgeon General Rupert Blue back on the scene to kill more rats.
Invest in cats.
Yeah.
They did. Let's see. They called his workshop that he had on San Francisco the Rattery. The Rattery.
The Rotary.
And they pressured him to get the San Francisco bubonic plague issues under wraps before the Navy came by. I can't remember what it was, but they were going to the Navy was essentially sailing around the world to show off America as a superpower.
Ah, the Voyage of the Great White Fleet.
Yes, the Great White Fleet. That's what it was.
Yeah, that was going on. That was about to go on. Yeah.
Yes. So if San Francisco couldn't get its shit together, they were going to go up to Seattle. So San Francisco was determined to show that they were back, baby, from the Great Earthquake encounters, even though they weren't really. And they were back from the bubonic plague, but they weren't really.
It's not a problem. The white people aren't getting sick anymore.
No. They're exclusively the only ones getting sick, interestingly, at this time. Because Chinatown had already had massive cleanup efforts, part and thanks because of Rupert Blue and his translator and the relationships he had developed with the people in Chinatown. So now there's not as much garbage being laid around and thrown on the street. It is clean. There is no cases of bubonic plague left anymore in Chinatown during the earthquake and the subsequent fires.
Ah, so that's where all the witches are.
So there are no more reported cases of bubonic plague. People have gotten vaccinated with an early trial version of the vaccine.
Early trial version. Sorry, that just sounds like a demo of a vaccine, and it sounds kind of funny.
Is that not what we got during the COVID stuff too?
I mean, fair.
It was a vaccine rushed out in an emergency, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But in the meantime, the white people are getting sick now. So now people are listening to Rupert Blue, even though for the long time, the entire time, Blue has been there, and his predecessor, the past Surgeon General, were completely knocked off by local government. Both the governor and the mayor of San Francisco were adamant that bubonic plague did not exist in San Francisco. And that's just never changed, you know? But yeah, thanks in part to the efforts of Rupert Blue. He's also, I didn't realize this, he's also known for having massive efforts trying to exterminate mosquitoes during yellow fever and a yellow fever epidemic in New Orleans.
That's my fucking hero right there. Exterminate all the mosquitoes. Sorry.
This man has been fantastic at dealing with epidemics. And he takes them seriously. He builds relationships with the people who are under his command. He even had some duties during World War I before retiring ultimately December 1932.
I'd assume he would have been involved with the Spanish flu epidemic.
I'm assuming so. Yes, here it is. Recruiting and retaining physicians during wartime was a challenge, a situation made worse by the global Spanish influenza pandemic that reached the United States in 1918. Blue was applauded by President Wilson's executive order making PHS an arm in the military, and subsequent moves to set officers' pay and benefits on a par of those with the armed forces. But he didn't see the passage of legislation until October 1918, well into the pandemic.
Yeah, because the government, as usual, tried to ignore it.
Yep, but it's not.
They tried to ignore it right up until it started affecting the war.
Given his tenure during this period, it may not come as a surprise that Blue advocated enacting national health insurance, then known as universal sickness insurance, as part of an overall federal public health strategy. Blue spoke not only as Surgeon General and on behalf of the Association of State and Territorial Health Officers, but also as President of the American Medical Association from 1916 to 1917. He advanced to the rank of Vice Admiral in 1942 and died on the 12th of April 1948 in his home in Charleston, South Carolina. So Rupert Blue is a big, massive part of healthcare. Not as we have it today, but the idealized healthcare we wish we could have had. And I wish there were more Surgeon General Rupert Blues in our healthcare system currently.
Now, the problem is he was competent.
He's extremely competent. He was very good at his job.
Yeah, that's why he'd never be employed today.
True.
Anyway, moving on to the idea blocks, you have TikTok psychic loses a defamation case finally.
First show of hands, who knows what the fuck I'm talking about here?
And no idea. I don't watch TikTok, so I have no idea.
I don't watch TikTok either, but I love YouTube drama because it's so stupid. So the TikTok psychic was this woman who had. Do you guys remember that the murder trial for Idaho?
What now?
No.
Okay. So in Idaho, 4 college students were brutally murdered in their dorms, and the current suspect, I can't remember what the trial is going at this moment. Hold on, Idaho. Brian Koberger. Kyle Koberger or Brian Koberger is arrested and currently on trial for the murders of those college students. And that's a whole other can of worms, right?
Mm-hmm.
He has been arrested in connection with those murders. However, prior to his arrest, there was this psychic on TikTok who did a tarot card reading and said, "You know what? It is so clear to me now. I can't believe the police didn't missed it. The TikTok psychic in question, Ashley Gillard, claimed that her tarot cards say that a history professor by the name of Rebecca Schofield is responsible for the murders of these 4 students.
So one of the
All
most
based off of
reliable of sources.
tarot card
Dude,
reading.
trust me.
She claims that Rebecca Schofield had an affair, a lesbian affair, with one of the students who were murdered. And when they broke up, she got upset and she murdered the student and her other dorm mates that were in the room that night. And then Brian Koberger was arrested in conjunction with it. And the TikTok psychic starts spewing nonsense every single day, saying they need to look into Rebecca Schofield. They need to look in. She probably hired Brian Koberger. I do not sense malice from him. All that other junk, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, Schofield, realizing that this is going to affect her career in the long run, sends cease and desist letters and contacts police, letting them know, hey, this person is accusing me of this, but I've already been cleared as a suspect. I wasn't even on campus. That's probably not true. I wasn't even on campus. Is probably nothing. Like, she's just letting them know I'm not in connection with any of this. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So Gillard has been doubling, tripling, and quadrupling down and making memes and jokes about it on Twitter, but she is convinced that she is correct because she believes she's a god. More or
Saw
less.
it in a dream.
Uh,
My
Eventually,
source that I made it the fuck up.
Eventually, Professor Schofield files a lawsuit against the TikTok psychic. And the TikTok psychic has been making things a nightmare because she's escaped the country. She was extradited back. She's filing countersuit after countersuit after countersuit without legal representation, by the way. She's doing this all herself.
I'm sure her legal advice came to her in a dream as well.
Fucking tarot cards. So, yeah, eventually her claims were dismissed because she made it the fuck up.
Source,
She's
I made it the fuck up.
It came to me in a
continuously
dream.
failing to prove on what basis she could genuinely come to this conclusion aside from the fact that she's mental. And I've been to a psych ward twice, I can say that. Let's see, how much was she expected to... What were the results of this claim? The judge has acknowledged that Gillard is not an attorney and that it did affect the manner in which her counterclaims were brought, but he admonished her for attempting to use discovery as a fishing expedition, saying that she's just looking for any evidence at all with discovery instead of having evidence already and using discovery to back it up.
What a headache. Oh my god, these people.
According to...
Almost like law isn't supposed to be an amateur hour profession.
It's not. So the judge said, instead, based solely on her claimed ability to psychically divine the truth, defendant makes extraordinary allegations about how the plaintiff orchestrated the murder of 4 people to cover up a secret romantic relationship with one of the victims. These claims are not only conclusory and unverifiable, but arguably so outrageous as to be clearly baseless and thus implausible. He still has not sanctioned her, though. A group of Schofield's friends, this is the professor's friends, created a GoFundMe to help publicly pay for her, legal fees, because legal fees are expensive.
Yeah.
But she has been found liable for every single thing she has done to this professor, which, given the nature of the murders, and given how strongly everybody has felt about it, could have very well ended up with her being harmed in any capacity.
Adobe.
Adobe's
Adobe?
being sued. Yes, Adobe
Yes.
is being sued.
Oh, good.
Adobe is being sued by the U.S. government. Antitrust lawsuit. Let's go.
Let's fucking go.
So the main reason that Adobe is being sued is not because now that whenever you use their products, they're claiming that they own a stake in your product and thus are able to use it to their leisure. It's because whenever you have a free trial of Adobe or you have a membership with Adobe and you want to quit it because let's say the fees are too expensive, which is true. The fees and subscription service for Adobe is astronomically high for what they provide. They also don't tell you when you sign up that there are fees for cancellation.
Is that legal?
Doesn't
That's why
sound
they're
like
being
it.
sued. That's why they're being sued.
Well, I more mean like just fees to stop getting to stop a subscription. If it's not like an early cancellation contract fee, I don't think that's allowed.
I believe it is an early cancellation contract fee, and you have to pay out for the rest of the year.
Well,
Pero-
that's different. If it's like
Hold on, let me
if
see
it's
what
like
the
a
argument is.
contract where it's like you sign like some number of year contract and you want to leave it early, generally they can have like an early cancellation fee. However, that's different from like you're paying a month-to-month subscription. And if you want to stop paying it, yeah, you gotta pay us to stop paying us.
Okay, so yes, according to ARS Technica, Adobe's hidden cancellation fee is unlawful, FTC suit says. No, Adobe knowingly trapped customers into annual subscriptions.
Yeah, well,
Those
We'll get
hidden
back to that.
those cancellation fees are fucking astronomical. It's either you're stuck paying the annual bill or you're stuck paying a slightly higher cancellation fee.
so Adobe's getting the shit suit out of it, but you know what? We'll come back to that. But yeah, so good job, U.S. government. You're trying to do something.
Yes, so essentially
Hmm.
they're using it as a retention tool. For individual users, according to this article, accessing Adobe's suite of apps can cost more than $700 annually, Bloomberg has reported.
Jesus
For many
Christ.
users, suddenly paying an ETF worth hundreds while losing access to service instantly, the decision to cancel is not as straightforward as it might be without the hidden fee. Because Adobe allegedly only alerted users to the ETF in fine print by hovering over a small icon or clicking a hyperlink in small text, while the company's cancellations flows made it hard to end recurring payments, the FTC is suing and accusing Adobe of deceptive practices under the FTC Act.
Reminder that it would take the average American 70 full workdays to read all of the fine print and all the EULAs that they encounter in a standard year.
In addition, Adobe's subscribers have long complained on social media and in submissions to the Better Business Bureau that they've detailed what the FTC says a range of difficulties consumers have encountered when attempting to cancel an Adobe subscription. The most frequent complaints suggest the self-cancellation process sends customers in an unending loop and that support calls or chats are routinely dropped. Quote, during the phone call, they put me on hold, and when they came back, the connection kept blanking out until the line was silent, but they were still connected. An Adobe subscriber wrote in a review posted on the Better Business Bureau last week. I couldn't hear anything. I felt trapped with the subscription. It's horrible and predatory, wrote another reviewer. Never ever sign up for a free trial. I've been on the hook for an entire year with multiple calls to customer service. Insanely high cancellation fee. Awful. And they are also naming 2 Adobe executives as defendants.
Let's go!
I think they're putting 2 of them on the stand?
No, that means they were suing them directly.
Oh, okay.
They're suing both Adobe, the legal corporate entity, as well as 2 of the executives,
Oh.
like personally.
That makes more sense.
Yeah,
Mm.
but due to something we'll discuss later, somehow I'm not convinced that's gonna go anywhere. Anyway, banana.
Banana? Ooh, banana.
The steamed banana. I
Ah,
presume. Is that what the banana scam is referring to? Mina, the steamed banana?
Yeah, the steamed banana.
What's the steamed banana? Why is that a thing?
It's basically just NFTs all over again.
Yeah,
Bruh.
the Spiffing Brit, I think it was, did a video on it.
I know Mutahar also did a video on it. That's why I brought it up. But the banana scheme is basically cookie clicker, but with bananas. And with as many bananas as you can click, you can sell those bananas on Steam Marketplace to buy banana skins. And it does absolutely fucking nothing. But people are making insane amounts of money on that.
Let's see how long it takes before it all comes crashing down.
Yeah, it's all speculative market nonsense. It's people being idiots on the internet with money.
Yep.
Yep.
Really is crypto bros all over again. That's probably the main
Yeah.
people who are involved in it, is the crypto bros. Mirror monolith spotted in Las Vegas.
Who?
Mina.
Oh.
Do you have that
looking
still,
at
or is that lost?
I'm looking it up because I forgot about it.
While you look that up, the 1915 San Diego Rainmaker incident. So this is something I happened across.
As usual.
Yes. In 1915, the San Diego City Council, pressured by the San Diego Wide Awake Improvement Club, approached a man to produce rain to fill the Morena Dam Reservoir. Approached a man to perform wizardry to produce rain, basically.
The fuck?
He offered to produce rain for free, then charge $1,000 per inch, or $393.7 per centimeter, for between 40 and 50 inches, and free again over 50 inches. The council voted 4-1 for a $10,000 fee payable when the reservoir was filled. A formal agreement was never drawn up, though the man continued based on the verbal understanding. He and his brother built a tower beside the lake. It was ready early in the new year. On January 5th, 1916, heavy rain began and gradually grew heavier day by day. Dry riverbeds filled to the point of flooding. Worsening floods destroyed bridges, marooned trains, and cut phone cables, not to mention flooding homes and farms. 2 dams overflowed. Rain stopped on the 20th of January but resumed 2 days later. On January 27th, one of the dams broke, increasing the devastation and reportedly causing around 20 deaths. Accounts vary on the exact number. The wizard who San Diego hired to do this talked to the press on February 4th and said the damage was not his fault and that the city should have taken adequate precautions. He said he had fulfilled the requirements of the contract filling the reservoir, but the city council refused to pay the money unless he would accept liability for the damages. There are already claims worth $3.5 million. Besides, there was no written contract. He tried to settle for $4,000 and then sued the council. The suit continued until 1938, where 2 courts decided that the rain was an act of God, which absolved him of any wrongdoing, but also meant he did not get his fee. This is an actual thing that happened.
That's so funny. That's so fucking funny, dude.
Hell yeah.
It's an act of God.
He apparently was supposedly actually doing some chemical nonsense to cause a rain, but keep in mind this was the 1950s. He was basically His Wikipedia page says occupation quote unquote rainmaker, comma sewing machine salesman.
That's funny as fuck.
Eh, yeah, just nonsense. Nonsense.
My medication. Okay. I found the thing, by the way.
Okay. Oh, yeah, we are 25% through to the completion of the challenge.
Hell yeah.
Oh boy.
Alright, you find the stuff on that monolith?
I did.
Let's go.
Alright.
First it was Utah, then it was in Romania, then California, then Spain, then Wales, then Paraguay.
Well.
There have been weird metallic monoliths that have been found since as of late 2020 in random locations all over the world. There's just this weird monolith, prism-like thing
Mm-hmm.
that's just standing in the middle of the desert near Las Vegas. They have no idea how it got there. They have no idea who put it there. Some people say they were aliens.
Of course.
Of course they do.
Funny.
When isn't it aliens? Let's be honest.
Some people say they were just pranks.
What is the
and other people
Illuminati?
think it's a work of art. But
Sure, you could
for
also be
instance,
Illuminati.
somebody reported that this thing was just standing in the middle of the desert, called the police, and nobody has any idea where the fuck they're coming from. They did not disclose the official location of this object, given that it was extremely remote and lacked resources like restrooms, but they went to go see the monolith anyway.
Do we have an image of the monolith?
I just sent it.
Hold it.
It's just a big tube of mirror.
That's kind of funny.
According to the website monolithtracker.com, there have been a total of 245 monoliths reported worldwide since late 2020. It stood at 6 feet 5 inches tall and 13 inches wide with each of its 3 faces. The monolith was made of folded sheet metal and held together with rebar and concrete.
Mm-hmm.
But they did remove the monolith 4 days after its initial discovery. There is a lot of different artists that people believe created this monolith. And there's a lot of copycats apparently, but no one knows where the original first came from.
I see. This all sounds like such a headache for the areas that it has appeared in.
I mean, it's
Oh.
so inconsequential, it just showed up. You know?
Mm-hmm.
So that's it for the monolith. There's not a whole lot to say there.
It's just a monolith.
It's just there, and that's the mystery of it. Where the fuck did this thing come from?
It's just standing there, menacingly.
Okay. Do we want to take a break from my stuff and talk about some of the new stuff you guys wanted to put up?
Up to y'all.
I'm just
really.
kind of going down the list.
Yep. Basically.
We want to keep... Okay.
I'm gonna go to the
Last
bathroom
thing-
real quickly.
Okay.
I'll be back in a second.
I have
Not a second.
another thing right here. Right. Here it is. So, I wanted to talk about the I'm Alex allegations. So, trigger warning for abuse, domestic, emotional, financial, and physical. You know, there's a lot of shit we need to cover. There's also the talk of PDF files, we shall say, because I don't want Jimmy to get in trouble. Those types of allegations. Sexual misconduct, the like. So, click off now if that's not your cup of tea. We'll be done in about 10 minutes or so. We're gonna see how quickly I can get through these. But it's pretty infamous now, as opposed to when I first wrote about this in the idea box in June. But I'm Alex was a content creator who spoke exclusively on drama, and they have a bit of a reputation within the YouTube commentary space for being a bit of an ass, right? He presented himself as this very wholesome, very holier than thou type person.
That's always
But
a
it
good
worked
start.
for a lot of people, you know. Problems with I'm Alex really started to arise when during the Slazo allegations. I don't know if you guys know of the Slazo allegations.
Off the top of my head.
Okay, so Slazo was a content creator on YouTube. He did a lot of Reddit content, right, back when that was also in the swing of things in 2020, 2019. And then he had an ex-girlfriend come out and say that she had been abused by him, Slazo. And I'm Alex took those allegations and fucking ran, because he said that he had pressured this girl into doing things she did not want to do, that he was sexually aggressive with her, that he had called her abusive names, and that it was inappropriate because she was 14 and he was 16. Honestly, the nature of their ages does not faze me as much as the egregious way in which he overstated the allegations. She had never once made a rape accusation towards Slazo, but that is all he spoke about. He was saying how he was in charge with Shay to make the documentary that she released, the Google Doc that she released in regards to her relationship with Slazo. And Slazo's reputation was effectively ruined by this accusation. He made a video that was widely applauded when he was finally released some months later. But because he had taken so long to formulate and make his response, I'm Alex and his, I believe, then partner King Annie, as well as some other creators that I enjoyed, because I like Quite still, but Quite didn't know. There was a huge lack of accountability for those exaggerations and misgivings. Shay eventually ran off the internet after he debunked most, if not all, of the claims. He was just a horny boyfriend. He wasn't abusive to her, based on the evidence presented. But basically, from then on, people did not like I'm Alex because he was the only dumbass that came out and said, I know that Sazo responded and I know that Shay lied, but I still believe he did these things because he was being weird when he was in my apartment. In which, no. They had lived together for a while, so the fact that he was so comfortable perpetuating these lies said a lot about his character. And while his main audience stayed with him, because everybody makes mistakes, a lot of people just didn't trust him, didn't want him around in the circles. Yep. So ever since then, I'm Alex has been regularly covering other drama. He still has a big holier than thou vibe, I guess. Very wholesome, very we have to love everybody, you guys. You can't be doing this kind of stuff. It is so irresponsible to be using your platform to be pushing these people into doing things they don't want to do. It's so easy, you guys. It's so easy. It's so easy to just be a good person, right? Because he's got this fucking lisp.
Why did you turn
Fucking
British
gremlins.
for a moment?
Hmm?
You turned British there for a moment.
No, that was the point.
Oh, okay.
You've missed a whole bit of context. Yeah, I'm Alex is British, by the way. And then, earlier this month, or earlier in June, his ex-girlfriend Alice comes out with a whopping 84-page Google document detailing her entire relationship with I'm Alex, and it is not great. So she comes with screenshots. She even comes prepared with video leaks and calls, right? So because she had dropped calls from her Discord calls and phone calls and voice messages that he had sent to her throughout the relationship. And Alex cannot claim that it is AI, and he cannot claim that they are not him on that line because he has the dumbass fucking habit of going onto Discord calls with his camera on. So, Jimmy, if you would be so kind, you don't need to play the video itself. I just need you to play the first clip of that video I sent in the chat up until... just play the first 30 seconds.
Okay then. Hold on.
Thing about you.
Hold on. Wait.
Oh wait, no, not the... No, you want to play from 33 seconds into...
To what?
107. 33 to 107. Just
Okay.
play the audio on stream.
I can do you one better. Unless, you know, this is illegal. But I have the
It's
video on.
probably not.
Okay.
It's
well,
not. From 33 seconds to a minute and 7 seconds in.
Alright.
Bitch, retard.
So that is I'm Alex
Is it
with his
generally
girlfriend
because you're just fucking
Alice.
brain dead?
Yeah, I'm very brain dead, yeah.
Is that why you decided to go on the fucking offensive instead of the
Didn't go on the
maybe?
offensive.
Oh, we can't hear it, by the way.
Okay.
Wait, can we? Hold on, let me check the stream.
I don't know what to
Okay,
call
you're
what you did. It was weird. It's always weird. You always take this fucking weird route. Just do the normal route, which is just do the normal route, but a normal girlfriend
You're
would be
acting
okay.
like
I
this
didn't-
is
I didn't
all
mean
just
that.
me, and that's something you
verbal
really
abuse
fucking
of significant other.
I'm gonna
.exe.
fucking bash your fucking head against the wall with a brick.
Watch him at this specific point. Watch him.
Alright.
Oh, I just saw it on the stream. Yep. Yup.
Yeah. Imagine threatening to bash your significant other's head in with a brick because they wanted to run a Twitch channel instead of a YouTube channel.
Bruh.
Wow.
That is the quintessential essence of this relationship. Dude, he calls her stupid, he says he hates her, he threatens to harm her constantly on these messages, and then love bombs her immediately afterwards. At some point, he even calls her the N-word twice.
Certified big douche.
Yeah, no, this is the same guy who said
Yep.
it's so easy to not say the N-word, you guys.
It's so easy not to. However, I'm still going to fail.
He's still going to say it intentionally to his girlfriend when she is trying to hide herself in the bathroom because he had just kicked her when they moved in together. They
Friend.
moved in together because they were looking at apartments and he just kind of assumed he would and threw a tantrum until she did.
Bruh.
Cringe.
Why you gotta act like a man-child? Jeez.
It is astounding the level of hypocrisy and the level of disgust that you can find in a person. I don't know. It's just holy shit. Like, people expected him to be a dick, right? They didn't expect him to be this much of a fucking monster.
This big of a dick with such a small dick.
Mm-hmm. All the little dick energy. And it's like,
How much of a
He
dick you
has-
are inversely
he has
correlates with
merchandise.
how big your dick is.
he has merchandise that says internet sensation on it, right? He genuinely acts like he is the biggest YouTuber in the fucking pond. Like, my guy, where is your fucking channel at now? At the time, I think he had only barely gotten to halfway to the million mark on his second channel. His first channel was doing much better. It was in the millions already. But after this, he's lost most of his revenue. This is the most astounding subscriber loss since Creepshow Art and James Charles. Creepshow Art was accused of stalking someone for 8 years, and James Charles was, you know, in the whole goodbye sister video with the initial turning straight guys gay.
Internet nonsense. I hate
It's
it.
just absolute fucking goddamn.
I think we need to talk about something nicer to lighten the mood a bit. So let's talk
Yeah.
about
I am
Chiquita the
done.
Banana Company.
You mean the human rights violations?
Yeah, actually, because they've actually been found liable for some of it
That's fucking good.
in a court. They got told to pay some fines for some of their modernish shit, where they were paying. They paid money to one of like the cartels or whatever, who's like registered as like a terror organization, which is a big no-no. And they got sued by some of the family members of victims of said organization, and they got found liable. Not only were they found liable in a U.S. court. All right, that just doesn't fucking happen.
It does
Reminder.
not.
Chiquita
But it also,
is the United Fruit Company. They are the United Fruit Company under a new name. This is literally who it is. They are the Banana Republic people.
damn. Damn.
They finally took an L. It's a small one compared to what they deserve, but still, it's progress. And the thing is, not only was it a U.S. court, it was a U.S. court in Florida.
Damn. How bad you gotta fuck up to be found liable in Florida?
How bad do you have to fuck up as a corporation to be found liable for crimes committed in another country in a Florida courtroom?
Where that is their bread and butter. Florida will let you get away with this shit as long as you're spending this blood. You know what? That's probably what it was. They weren't doing their fair share for taxes for the government.
They weren't doing what? Oh, they weren't doing it for the government?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, at least they didn't keep the government in the loop.
They didn't keep the government in the loop. The thing is, from my understanding of it, it's the money they paid them was like, it was basically like a protection racket or something, but still. Still. We'll get to that later. Oh, another thing that this isn't U.S. politics, but does relate to the U.S. government. They got like released recently that this was a thing that was going on. Is the U.S. government during COVID ran anti-vaccine psyops?
God damn it.
They actually ran anti-vax psyops. The Pentagon did.
For what reason?
These were run in the Philippines and the Middle East, because, and I shit you not, it was literally, it was because China was handing out their vaccine for free, and America was like, yo, corporations, once America is fully vaccinated, you can just sell yours for however much you want. And the DoD was like, oh no, China's gonna use the fact of giving out the vaccines to improve their soft power. We can't let them do that.
So instead of doing the logical thing and just making the vaccine free, they did a psyop that could potentially irreparably hurt people and their relationship with the medical community.
Yep. Sounds like it.
Yeah. Yeah, they did.
Kinda
And
cringy.
apparently, like, within like the month, Facebook like turned up. It's like, yo, you're not allowed to do this on our platform. To which the government's like, what? No, we're not doing this. Also, please shut the fuck up about it. Like, it wasn't even that they were doing it, it's that they were doing it so badly too.
They could have just subsidized the companies that made the vaccine when they rolled it
They
out.
could have, they could have, but remember which
And it would have
administration
been
was in
cheaper
charge.
and less shit.
The other thing though is it was targeting Muslims and Filipinos. And remember which administration was in charge at the time?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Filipinos didn't seem to care one way or another, but Muslims, yeah, that administration did not like them.
Cringe.
It's almost like
Yeah. Yeah, especially since, as like a reminder of what was going on, huge amounts of Americans were like going out of their way to protest being told they should vaccinate, or that they have to, whatever. Meanwhile, fucking like Mexico's like, please, you're not using the vaccines you're trying to give to your people. Can we have them, please?
Nuh-uh.
Which is like, ew.
congratulations, America. You not only failed to psyop other countries, but you successfully psyoped your own fucking people.
Thanks, Fox News. Very cool. Jimmy, something in Spanish from Twitter.
Okay, so it's not that it's something in Spanish from Twitter. It is something that the fucking government have done, or that they're planning on doing. Let me. I think I talked about it a little bit last time, but
Oh, hold on, wait. Is this the? Oh yeah, I'm able to interpret enough of the Spanish. Yeah. All right, this is the one of those laws that is like, yes, I would not be. This is the kind of thing which like the conspiracy theory. It's a bill sponsored by NordVPN.
yes. That is what we were talking. That's what we're talking about today. So I'm gonna say this. So I'm gonna say it first in Spanish. I'm gonna try and roughly translate it into English.
I can translate it.
Los adultos que quieran entrar en webs porno deberán tener una carnet digital de 30 accesos durante 30 días. Basically, if you want to enter a porn site, you're going to need an ID, some sort of ID, to gain access for 30 times for 30 days. Which
Sponsored by NordVPN or
which
Surfshark VPN, whichever VPN company is on it today, because they're the only people who win whenever any of these stupid ass bills are passed. In like apparently Spain now, half the U.S. states are doing something of the sort. And it's just anytime any kind of those bills pass, the Google search result for VPN spikes immediately.
and it's just like
Funny every time.
Like, government, I understand what you're trying to do, but this doesn't fucking work.
you know, it won't fucking work. You know why they claim they're doing this? So kids and
What?
adolescents don't enter porn sites.
Which is
Yeah,
fair.
that's what everyone says. But
This is not
this is
the
just
way-
basically an extra step on the are you 18 or over or older? Yes or no?
Yeah, basically. Like even on the article it says the minister of that's in charge of this, Jose Luis Escriba, has said that there is possibilities that people just go around the solution, and it's like if you know
Yeah.
this is going to
No
happen.
shit.
No shit, Sherlock.
Also, quick question.
Yes.
How would you go around getting these verifications? Do you need to go to like a government office? Do you need to fill out a form online? Do you need to prove? You need to prove like.
We
Proof of
don't know.
identity.
We just know that it's a thing that might happen.
Cause like, ease of access is gonna be terrifying, right? Because either
No, it's just gonna be
easy-
everyone's gonna get a VPN. Is what's gonna happen.
everybody's gonna get a VPN. But like, I'm trying to think about this logistically, as if they, because they clearly didn't.
No, because they're the government.
Exactly, especially these group of clowns, because genuinely they're clowns.
Fucking.
Just let
They-
people
they're
ruin
making-
peace.
Like they're making problems that they can't even fucking resolve. And they're taking like zero fucking shits to take care of the actual, problems. I'm really bad at explaining this, but you know what I mean, right?
Instead of solving any of the actual problems that the government's been put in power to solve, they've made up a new problem from whole cloth on their own so that they can not solve it.
Yep.
So they can air quotes solve the problem in
Yep.
a way that doesn't actually solve the problem. It's like
Correct.
some of the shitty control laws the Americans have come up with that just do nothing.
They literally came up with a yandere sex license, but for porn exclusively.
Yep. It is very annoying, and this isn't the first country that has done this, by the way. I'm pretty sure that there's, I think South Korea also has this.
Every day,
We stray
Every
further
day.
from God.
we are only left alive by the grace of God, and I don't know how much more grace He's got left.
God is a comedian, and suffering is hilarious. Anyway, the pasaporte.
And that's just how Spanish people are calling it, el pasaporte.
Okay.
Like I think I sent an image on Images or somewhere else that is just
Yeah.
basically like a passport that says pasaporte.
Yeah.
That's basically
You said
it.
that somewhere. I remember seeing that.
Yeah, in the idea box further in. Basically, that's what's happening.
Yeah. Okay. I assume that was a pun in Spanish on it.
Yes, it's just passport, but for masturbating. Because
Ah.
you say paja as masturbating, yeah.
Okay.
Sorry for the bomb there, but
It's the a bunch of U.S. states have been trying to do something similar, except something vaguely similar, which just results in them having a whole bunch of new people buy VPN subscriptions.
yep. No, you know what? You know what they should do? Parents should monitor these kinds of things. I'm sorry to say. They shouldn't.
Yeah.
This shouldn't be a problem from the government. This should be a problem within the families.
Anyway, moving on. You have a link to another Twitter post.
I do? Oh yeah, okay,
Uh,
so I sent this thinking Mina would like this considering it's someone that like seems to know about the problem with AI and why it sucks. So when I sent it thinking, oh well, Mina might like this. And that's why I sent it.
Granted, to this point, I still haven't watched it.
We
Not
can.
for lack of trying on my part. I just,
No, we can wait for next
Nope.
week then. Don't worry.
yeah.
We'll get back to that then. We'll get to that later. Okay, so I'm going to take a moment to talk about a funny that I found that I think is at least mildly amusing, which is evidence of one of Uncle Sam's latest new toys, and new is in air quotes for this one. So America has recently we've gotten confirmed like photos of it of a new multi-purpose missile that the Navy's duct taped some F-18s to fly around and do stuff with, which is it's nominally an air-to-air missile, but it can also do air-to-surface, called the AIM-174. And the reason we know a lot about what this thing can do is because it is literally just an SM-6 naval VLS missile that they've taken the VLS booster off of and duct taped to a plane. And,
America.
yeah, and the reason this is funny is, first of all, this means America's got an air-to-air missile with a 150-pound warhead. So it just evaporates anything it gets anywhere near. And it has, like, the range of the missile, the notable thing about it is the range of the missile exceeds the targeting equipment of the F-18 by, like, 3 times.
That makes no sense.
Well, no, it makes perfect sense. Because the thing is, you have to keep in mind is, with the U.S. really likes its interconnected systems. Okay, so basically, the theory for what the purpose of this thing is you've got the Navy with a fancy F-35C flying out in front, being a stealth plane, you know,
Yeah.
as it does. And then you've got your F-18s way further in the back, lugging around these stupidly massive missiles that you could never fit in a stealth plane's weapons bay. And the F-35 just goes, alright, I've got a squadron of somethings over here that they're some Chinese plane or whatever. Alright, you F-18s 200 miles behind me. I've got targets for you. Here you go.
Oh, okay, that makes more sense. Okay, my bad,
Yeah,
my bad.
so they've got a stealth plane out in front, basically marking targets for aerial artillery. Or they've got an AWACS plane marking targets. And they're basically using the older, cheaper planes that can't do stealth as basically bomb trucks or missile trucks in the back, while they've got a stealth plane out in front, spotting targets and stuff. So it's effectively using the multiple levels of the system and stuff. Plus, it's basically the SM-6 missile, so a lot of the production seems to be similar, or at least there's some similarities, but it's not like you can just convert one to the other. But, you know, American logistics. The other thing of note is, based on the estimates of like how big it is, an F-18 could carry 5 of these on its heavy duty hard points, and launch from a carrier with 5 of them. And just, I think it's amusing that it's just, alright, we took a surface-fired missile, we have strapped it to a plane, and then called it the longest range air-to-air missile ever built. And it's, I think it's amusing anyway.
It is kind of amusing, yeah.
It's just some of the people and some of the Discord have been chuckling at it because it's funny to nerds. Anyway, moving on. We have a thing that I have listed here as, quote, a funny you should not watch until I tell you to on the Roomba. Alright? Oops. This is a post on Twitter, where it's a news clip from, I think, Britain? I think? which the caption kind of gives it away. But Jimmy, if you can you put it up and try and just do your best to not read the caption?
So I just press on the video.
So see, put the video on the stream, okay? And just hold your hand over the caption so you don't read it, because it's a spoiler.
Okay then. Hold on. Wait.
I'm pretty sure this is from Britain, and it's the Prime Minister-elect giving a speech.
I think I need to open it and Google Chrome.
Like to pay tribute.
All right. Hold on.
Was I for a moment? I'm back now. Hello.
All right. No, this man is British.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's British.
All right.
Lastly, I'd like to pay
Keir
tribute
Starmer.
to
Yeah.
my fellow
So it's a 13-second
who put
clip of him
themselves
giving a
forward
speech.
for public
And
service.
pay attention when it cuts to the
Because in
wide
this
shot,
room,
alright?
Right here beats the heart of our democracy. Lastly, I'd like to pay tribute to my fellow candidates who put themselves forward for public service. Because in this room, right here, beats the heart of
Did
our
you see it?
democracy.
The dude with the big ass hat and the Elmo costume, yes.
Yeah, there's a guy in the Elmo costume. So this Prime Minister, like, in this room right here, beats the heart of our democracy, and then two guys over in the line is a man in a full Elmo costume.
Now I have to watch it as well.
Oh my god.
It's just...
So...
What is this? What's going on? Why is there Elmo?
Why is Elmo here?
Is Elmo there?
It makes no sense, but it's funny as fuck though.
Why is Elmo there?
Why is Elmo there?
Why is Elmo with the British Prime Minister-elect? What's he doing?
Why Elmo's hair? Why?
Moving on from that nonsense. That's just...
I mean, it could also just be another Lord Buckethead, you know?
Lord Buckethead was Lord Elmo.
Yeah.
Lord Elmo head, 5 head.
This is your reminder that canonically in Sesame Street, Cookie Monster has a British cousin named Biscuit Monster.
Also, Big Bird has cousins all over the world. In Mexico and other Spanish-speaking countries. I believe his name is Alberto.
Big
Of course
Bird.
it's called
His name is
Alberto.
No, it's Alevardo. His name is Alevardo.
Ah.
Big Bird's
Big
cousin.
Bird almost exploded.
Yeah, Big Bird almost fucking died on the...
Almost fucking exploded on the Space Shuttle Challenger.
But yeah, no, Big Bird has a cousin. His name is Alevardo. In Spanish.
Anyway, apparently Mr. Beast took to Twitter saying if they reduce the age restriction for running for president, he'd throw his hat into the ring. So apparently Mr. Beast has presidential ambitions?
Oh.
I mean, considering what he's doing, would be a good idea, but you know.
I mean,
Still, it's a whole.
he'd be better, I guess. But like,
You sure about that?
so it's so so the memes have obviously come. So the post, Mr. Beast says he will run for president of the U.S. if they lower the age requirement, which obviously isn't going to happen. To which someone, so we then have the memes. Can't wait for the $1 versus $1 billion drone strike. I told Putin if he can stay in this square for 72 hours, he can have Ukraine. I paid every American $10,000 to vote for me. I locked all the congressmen until they passed a decent law.
That's the internet for you, people.
Those are posted in one of the Discords of it, and then the Discord people chimed in. I take him compared to our options. You'd have to actively try to be worse than what we have. Unfortunately, Mr. Beast hasn't reached the required biological decomposition to run for president.
Oh, that's right. You need to be at least 34, right?
35. I checked it, yeah.
35.
It's the Constitution requires you to be at least 35 to run for president. And unfortunately, he hasn't reached that required level of biological decomposition yet.
Who was our youngest president so far? The Kennedy?
Youngest U.S. president. The youngest person to become a U.S. president was Theodore Roosevelt.
Oh, good for him.
Was Teddy,
Love Teddy. Wish he came back.
who at the age of 42, who succeeded to the office after the assassination of William McKinley.
Wait, that man was 42? The fuck?
Teddy Roosevelt.
What it is. People have just aged.
So technically, he wasn't the youngest person ever elected president, because he became president after the person before him was assassinated because he was VP.
Yeah, who was the youngest elected president?
Uh,
I remember hearing it was a Kennedy. I can't remember if that's true, though.
age at start of presidency. John F. Kennedy, who was 43.
Okay, yeah, so there's a year difference between the two.
Bill Clinton has been in third.
I wish they had an age cap, you know, like after about 85, maybe 75, you're no longer allowed to run because it's typically when on dementia sets in.
The way I would do it personally, if I were to like write the
65.
constitutional amendment to do that, would be to peg it to the national government's retirement age.
I was thinking the same.
They would just never retire. They
Well,
already.
no, like it's like say like you cannot run for president if at the time you would be inaugurated, you would be older than the federal government's retirement age for government employees. Because the reason I do that is because if technology improves and like it's not like a concern or whatever due to the knowledge of medical technology, you wouldn't want to have to amend the U.S. Constitution to change that.
Technology.
Plus, on the one hand, you'd be like, oh, Congress would just like write the law, so that would never be a thing. But then the thing is, then the fucking government would fall apart because you'd have like 80-year-olds working in like important bureaucratic positions that they can't fulfill, and the government would not work. Like the bureaucracy requires stuff, and I would also like peg congressmen the same way, and then probably Supreme Court I'd say like the mandatory retirement age is like federal retirement age plus 5 years.
Yeah, but also the fucking bureaucracy already doesn't work. Need I remind you, Most Critical was trying to sue U.S. immigration.
Yeah.
Oh well, actually, you know what I mentioned before? We'll talk about the U.S. bureaucracy actually real quick because where is it? Did I put it in here? Pretty sure I put it in here. Where did I not actually put it in here? Yeah, I guess I missed it. Yeah, the U.S. Supreme Court made a decision and shot the entire U.S. bureaucracy in both knees. The administrative state just got fucking executed by the Supreme Court. So let's talk about that. So this is both complicated legal mumbo jumbo, but also relatively simple. So for a fairly long time, since I think it was under Reagan or something, that it was established. there was a doctrine known as Chevron deference, wherein the courts would basically it was the doctrine of the courts to defer to administration experts for like the FDA, the EPA, so on and so forth, on the interpretations of like the nitty-gritty bits of laws. So, for example, Congress passes a law that says EPA accomplish this goal and give us clean air. Then the EPA figures out the specifics, and the courts were to defer to the experts of the EPA on those specifics. Like, for example, government says make it so gasoline isn't as polluting, then the EPA comes up with a way to do that, and the court is supposed to say, yep, the EPA and their experts are correct on this. Or, for example, for one that's come up recently that we actually talked about in a previous Roomba, the Congress tells the ATF enforce this legislation on machine guns. We define what a machine gun is. You decide what meets that definition. And then the ATF goes and does that. And then if someone thinks they fucked it up, like with bump stocks or whatever, they sue them. And then it goes to the courts and so on and so forth. And then the courts can overturn it. If no, you've overstepped, you're being stupid. But usually they're supposed to say, well, they're the experts. The Supreme Court said, no, you're not allowed to do that. The Congress either needs to specify every single detail in their law, or any confusion of that has to be decided by the courts. And only the courts. Actually, hold on. No, it isn't here, and it's checked from last week. Did we talk about this last week? Checked off, so I guess we did. I don't know. The point is, it was described as the biggest judicial power grab since 1803, which is when the Supreme Court decided it had the power of judicial review.
Oh yeah, we did talk about this. I remember this.
Yeah, we did talk about it. So, yeah. So, the Adobe lawsuit, I'm sure it's going to go fucking nowhere, because now the FTC got all of its power to regulate fucking shot. Because, we don't need the FTC, or the EPA, or OSHA, or anyone like that. Also, there's more stuff in the courts currently going in against OSHA, but, Workplace safety, we don't need that. Look, caring for workers, that sounds like communism.
We're America, we don't like communism.
Red Scare, just ignore that it's the Red Party saying all these things. Anyway, to stay on the topic of to get back to some funny shit though, there's a picture that was going around this morning of one of Iran's modern frigates from like 2018 just fucking rolled over at its moorings onto its side. Just in port on its own, it just rolled over. Highest quality Iranian military hardware just rolls over on its own in port as it does. Lamau. Alright. And then before we get to our Ukraine and or Russia segments, or U.S. politics proper, I would like to take a moment to talk about, I picked up a game on the Steam Summer Sale. I picked it up on the 2nd, on July 2nd, alright? So I've owned it for 5 days.
Yes.
I have 57 hours in the game. 57.8 hours in the game already.
Jesus Christ, B, what are you doing?
I've played the shit out of this game.
Yeah.
It's a game by the title of War on the Sea. And I'll give you one guess what it's a game about.
Boat.
Yes. It's about a war on the sea. Who would have thought? It's World War II naval game. You got boats, you got planes, you do shit. It is a game. If I'm being entirely honest, it's not a great game. It's like it's solid 6 or 7 out of 10 is what I'd give it. It's by no means like a AAA game or anything like that. It's certifiably it works. It's a game. I've got problems with it. The controls and user interface aren't functional. The quality of a lot of the models in it are decent. And I'm someone who doesn't really care how much a game works, and I think the models are decent. And it's just a lot of it's just on the one hand it's not great, but on the other hand, this is the kind of shit I hyperfixate on. So I've played the shit out of this game. And it's the Steam games that has Steam Workshop support. So it's like how I have a negative review for Star Wars Empire at War, but I have almost 700 hours in the game.
Game bad, but I like to play it, but I will keep playing it.
Game bad. Well, Empire at War is different because War on the Sea is like, yeah, the game's okay, but it's my hyperfixation on that kind of shit, so I'll play the shit out of it. My brain's willing to put up with the questionable control schemes and stuff.
ADHD moment.
Yeah, basically. Versus Empire at War, the game is bad. However, the mod developers for this game, oh my god, you are fucking wizards. Like, seriously, the mods for Empire at War, it plays almost like a different game. It's basically being used as a game engine. Anyway, moving on from me talking about this game, where it's just I want to take a moment to do that.
I mean, a little break from real life things. Good. I picked up Halo.
You picked up Halo, yes. I also picked up Left 4 Dead 2.
Yeah,
because it was on sale for 99 cents. So Jimmy and I will probably end up playing it at some point.
Yeah.
Hey, I also have the game.
Oh my god, we all four have the game. Oh, we can play it. Oh my god. I'm gonna look for mods that we can all put together and like have a.
Let's do a vanilla playthrough first, or at least a round or something. I don't know.
Okay.
We'll do the frying pan, Team Fortress 2, which I forgot about.
We'll do one campaign in normal.
It's like I'd been meaning to pick it up for a while because Jimmy wants to play and it wasn't that
I'll probably
expensive.
do
Then I looked on Steam,
so.
like, oh, it's on sale for $1. Sure, I'll buy that for $1.
Me when I bought Left 4 Dead 2 back in the day. Oh, it's for $1. Shut up and take my money.
Yeah.
My friend gifted me Civ 6 because he bought it for £2. It was on the Steam sale this month, so he gave it to me a couple days ago. So now I'm learning to play Civ 6. That's how that's going.
I have a physical copy of Civ 6 somewhere.
I think I have Civ 6 in Epic Games. I got it for free back in the day.
I have Civ 6 on Steam and I have Civ 5 on Steam, and I basically only play 5 because.
Do you wanna play with me?
I could open it up at some point to play it with you, but the problem is I don't have like any of the DLCs or any of the good stuff from Civ 6.
Yeah, my friend wanted to get the DLC to get Queen Elizabeth.
What? I'm not talking about like some of like the actual like features of the game.
Yeah, she's British though, so she wants Lizzie.
Elizabeth I, not the second.
British.
Yeah. I think like the most modern leader in like Civ is like Gandhi.
That's funny.
And he's been there from the start, so.
Yeah.
Though I do know one of like DLCs or whatever for Civ 6, they finally gave India a leader option that wasn't Gandhi. They let you play as Chandragupta.
Cool.
So it's literally the first time India's been playable under anyone who isn't Gandhi. It's always been Gandhi.
Right.
I also know Civ 6 they've got Teddy, our boy Teddy Roosevelt as the leader for the U.S. They've got
Love
two different
Teddy.
versions of Teddy, and they've also got Abe Lincoln.
They do got Lincoln.
Lincoln's back.
Right. I gotta eat because I took my medication not too long ago.
Okay.
Alright. You do that.
You guys enjoy Roomba. Just as a reminder, we will not be doing D&D today just because I'm still feeling a little bit under the weather. We
Fair
are
enough.
so back, but only slightly, and we took a couple steps back, but we're good, you know?
We're very much booked.
Yeah.
We can play golf tonight.
We could play golf. I'm down for golf.
Or
Yeah.
Left 4 Dead. Now that we all have it.
Or let's...
True.
We'll see what we do.
I mean, I don't have the strongest system, so I'm not too sure.
Golf isn't that super heavy, if that's any consolation.
I know, but still.
That's fair. Alright.
Anyway, what should we talk about first? The Supreme Court or the unsealing of some Epstein docs? Both relate to the flabby felon.
Hold on. Give me a coin. Oh, actually, I have a coin already. But which one's heads and which one's tails?
Heads is the Supreme Court, because it's the one that's first in the idea box.
All right.
Yeah.
Supreme Court.
Alright, so
Think fuck coin flips
the
exist.
United States Supreme Court made a ruling on presidential immunity, and it is shit. It is a terrible decision, but it's more or less what a lot of people expect them to make. So the decision was to the effect of the president has immunity on any and he has criminal immunity on any official act, but does not have immunity for unofficial acts. Official acts include anything on the outer periphery of his official duties, and additionally, anything related to an official act cannot be used as evidence.
That's kind of strange.
That is the ruling, and basically, presumably the thing would be if they are impeached and convicted on the impeachment by Congress, they would not have immunity on whatever they got impeached for, presumably. But I don't know if they actually specified it. It wasn't talked about in any of the coverage I saw. But I would like to point out, during the verbal arguments for this case, one of the questions that was asked was specifically, could the president order their political rival assassinated? Would that be an official act? And yeah, it would. If they ordered the military to assassinate someone, that's an official act. Yeah.
Excuse me?
Why would they need to know that?
Yeah, basically, so long as it is in any way within the official duties of the president is immune from any and all criminal prosecution.
Bruh.
It's one of the dissenting opinions specifically use the line, "For fear of our democracy, I dissent." Basically just calling out this nonsense. This utter nonsense of a case, of a decision. It is so bad. And of course it was along the partisan lines. Because fucking cult. Reminder, 3 of the people on the Supreme Court were appointed to the Supreme Court by Trump.
This surprise of absolutely
3 of them.
nobody.
Yeah. And there lots of corruption from the conservative bloc, specifically Clarence Thomas, but you know what? I do know in response to like this decision, one of the congressmen did like draft up like impeachment articles on some of them, but that's not gonna go fucking nowhere. That's not gonna happen.
Probably not.
There is a reason this Supreme Court has the lowest public approval rate of any Supreme Court in history. It is that fucking bad.
Because they're not a Supreme Court, they're just a cult.
Yeah, basically. And the thing is, it is currently a 6-3 majority to the Conservatives, which by all accounts should not exist as it does. If we are a fucking functional democracy that used the fucking electoral college we used the fucking popular vote, it would be 6-3 liberal because Trump would have lost his election. But even if that wasn't the case, if Mitch McConnell wasn't a fucking asshole, it would have been at most 5-4. Because of Trump's appointees, one of them was a seat that should have gone to Obama, but Mitch McConnell delayed for like over a fucking year because it was too close to the election. Gotta let the people decide. One of them was legitimate Trump. And then there was the person who took over after Ruth Bader Ginsburg died, who got rushed through. I'm pretty sure Ruth Bader Ginsburg, if I remember, she died either like a month before the election or like after the election, but before Biden was sworn in. And Mitch McConnell fucking rushed it in. So if he was consistent, one of those two, either one of them, wouldn't have gone to Trump. It would have gone to either Biden or Obama. But you know what? They're not fucking consistent. They're fucking power-grabbing mongoloids.
What?
Or asshole.
Excuse me.
Cults.
What? I've never heard that word in my life.
I don't even know what the fuck is. I think I heard that someone used as an insult in some way. The point is, they're just fucking awful.
I'm looking it up.
Probably a slur or something. I'm sorry if it is. The point is, they're fucking cultist assholes who only care about their own power and have somehow managed to brand tax cuts for the elite and less regulations on your bosses not fucking you over as for the people and anti-elite.
Right. Because
they're assholes like that. And Fox News is propaganda. Yeah. And so, as part of that now, Donald Trump's trying to use that to claim immunity in all of his cases. The New York court case that he got convicted of, he's trying to claim immunity and get his conviction thrown out. To which the judge has been like, alright, no, this was while you were a candidate, though I will concede I'll have hearings on some of the pieces of evidence to see if they count as official acts. There's some evidence from when you were president that got let in, which maybe should be thrown out, but we'll cover that. But then his Georgia case, where it's a classified documents case, where that's the judge who's been bending over backwards to brown nose his ass, do everything that possible to give Trump and everything he desires, is going to hear, does the immunity apply, even though it's a case entirely related to after he left office. So even if they were quote-unquote official act, it was after he left office, so it doesn't count.
Exactly.
But that's just fucking corrupt judge again, who was again appointed by Trump.
To the surprise of nobody. Seriously, I need to have like a sign, like something on Roomba constantly.
A counter.
Because the amount
We need to have a counter to the surprise of nobody. U.S. politics fucking sucks.
Or that, yeah, that also works. But it's just like constantly. I'm just thinking, surprise of absolutely nobody.
Yeah. Oh, also, I'm not fucking done because on the topic of the Georgia case, there was a concurring opinion by Clarence Thomas, probably the most corrupt judge on the justice on the Supreme Court, who just completely unrelated to the topic of the decision that was being made on the presidential immunity, in their concurring opinion, just said, oh yeah, also, by the way, I'm not sure the special counsel position is legal.
What?
Just complete non sequitur. Out of nowhere. You might be thinking, what does that have to do with anything? Well, Trump's been trying to claim that the special counsel who got put in charge of running his prosecution in the Georgia case, and in the New York case, but mainly the Georgia case, is not allowed. Therefore, his entire case needs to be thrown out. And the Supreme Court, one of the Supreme Court justices just says, out of nowhere, just says, oh yeah, I'm adding this to the nonsense we're creating out of whole cloth. For no reason. No reason at all.
Right.
So fucking corrupt. Also, another thing I saw talked about was people have been dredging up some of the clips of some of these justices from the congressional hearings of when they were, because they get, the way the Supreme Court just works is they're nominated by the president,
Mm-hmm.
and there's hearings in Congress for Congress to approve the appointment, and it's all done under oath or whatever. And it's basically them someone got a clips of them being asked questions about things like abortion and presidential immunity and so on and so forth, where they said the exact opposite of what they ended up ruling on. I mean, like, and basically the whole point of the video is like, is this fucking perjury?
Oh yeah, no, that's I find it really funny because
So it was
it's
under
happening
oath?
because it's happening in so many fucking countries that they say one thing and they do the exact fucking opposite.
Well, that's just how politics works. But these aren't supposed to be politicians. They're Supreme Court justices, like
Right.
judges. But and because it was under oath, people were like, does this count as perjury?
What
For
is
fucking
perjury?
anyone else, it probably would. What was that,
is-
Jimmy?
What is perjury again? Sorry, again.
So perjury is if you are under oath to say, for like in the court of law, to say the truth, like as a witness or whatever, or under oath in Congress, and so on and so forth. If you lie under oath, that is the crime of perjury,
Mm-hmm.
which is a crime, where basically you under oath to say the truth, said a falsehood, knowingly. But it's not like it's you genuinely thought something was true, but you either misremembered or you had bad facts given to you. It's no, you lied. You lied under oath.
You lie like
you
a
said
scheming
one-
bastard.
It's like, for
How dare
example,
they?
Jimmy, you were a witness to a crime. However, you under oath at the trial, whatever, as a witness, knowingly say something false because of whatever reason. You got bribed or threatened, or you're secretly on the side of one of the sides or whatever, and you knowingly say something false.
Mm-hmm.
That is the crime of perjury. That's just an example.
Okay.
There's also juror interviews can result in perjury, and before Congress can result in perjury. And basically saying, did they commit perjury? They probably did, honestly. But they're the Supreme Court, so they're above the fucking law. Because they also, Supreme Court's ethics code is, we made it up, and it's a bunch of things that we should do, but we're not required to do because we're the Supreme Court. Fuck you. Also, Congress, if you try and regulate us, we're the Supreme Court. We're going to strike it down and saying you don't have the right to do so because we're the Supreme fucking Court. Just ignore that we technically, as the people who like to say, oh yeah, a lot of the Supreme Court people are like, yeah, we're super, we are hand on heart, we swear by the original text of the Constitution. Just ignore that all of the things we fucking do, we're making shit up. And also, the Supreme Court's power of judicial review isn't in the Constitution, but we're going to say we have it anyway, because Lamau. Moving on from this nonsense that's honestly depressing, something else that's honestly depressing. So a bunch of documents from the Jeffrey Epstein court case got unsealed.
Mm-hmm.
And who would have thought? Trump is mentioned quite frequently in them. It's like a frequent contact of Epstein and fucking conversations with him and fucking pedo shit. Testimony involving him as one of the people who was like going to Epstein's island to do pedo shit. It was all in the documents that were unsealed, and it's like,
I will never understand old people. Like, can't you keep your hands off the younger people? What the fuck? What is wrong
Apparently
with
they
you
can't.
people? You know what I mean, right? It's like, why?
that's not. It took fucking forever for any of the campaigns against Trump to even, like the officials, to even mention that he was a fucking felon. Or any of the shit he's been accused of and convicted of and adjudicated of. It's...
People would still vote for him. That's the worst part of it.
Everything's fucking been gerrymandered to shit, and the electoral college is shit and biased and everything. And Biden's an old man whose electorate also isn't a super big fan of him, even though he's honestly, like, objectively, like, one of the better presidents we've had in, like, a long time for some of the shit his administration's managed to get done, despite everything. It's entirely possible he's gonna fucking lose. And we'll be back to fucking Orange Man.
The meme of the rotten corpse versus slightly more rotten corpse is becoming more and more
Yeah,
frequent.
rotten corpse versus slightly more rotten corpse. It's just some of the stuff also on, like, the fucking... This man has gone on record and said he's gonna be a dictator on day one. He said that on record multiple times. Many of his supporters were like, yeah, there's like a clip of like of a Florida congressman be like, yeah, I'm gonna submit a law to suspend the writ of habeas corpus so Trump can go after his political enemies easier. And the thing is that, like, there's like a clip of this where it's like one of the, like, comedy political shows that exist in the US, where it's like the political conscience is like, man, you can't just call for the end of democracy in the same tone of voice you use to announce that someone's Toyota has their lights on in the parking lot. Because it's that casually people are saying this from the fucking MAGA cult. It's awful. I hate it. We've been going for 2 hours.
We have been, honestly...
Roomba of Thoughts. The stream's been up for 2 hours and 13 minutes.
Yeah, and it's taken 10 minutes for the stream to start. Yeah, we've been up for 2 hours, I guess. But is there nothing else we need to talk about?
The idea box is empty.
Oh, it's empty.
The idea box is empty. I could go through things. I don't really have anything new on the news from Russia, really. I haven't seen anything really interesting on it.
We point and laugh at anything
Ukraine
that
blew up
happens.
some more oil dumps and whatever. Yeah. Ukraine blew up some more oil dumps. Putin's still throwing a fit about
Baby
things,
fit.
giving the most disingenuous peace proposals possible. And Ukraine's like, Lamau, no, get the fuck out of our country.
Hey, Bitty Hoppity, get the fuck on my property.
Yeah, literally. Ukraine's like, we'll end the war as soon as you fucking leave. And Russia's like, no, we need to take half of Ukraine, or we're not leaving. And Ukraine's being so unreasonable and not giving us half the country. Wham! Wham! We're totally winning this, guys. And that's just basically that's basically the news, is they're continuing to do that. I haven't seen anything new interesting come up, that hasn't been covered previously. They blew up some new shit. Oh well. It's a lot of more of the same, but it's the funny same. Where it's Russia continues to take L's, and cry like a bitch. Oh, actually, there was one thing I did see where apparently there was a confrontation between some Chinese and Philippine Coast Guard or whatever, where they got in like a fist fight on some boats, and then went home
Wait,
because
what do you mean by that?
China and the Philippines are going at it, I guess.
They don't like each other.
Because South China Sea nonsense. Anyway, do we have anyone we want to raid?
No idea. I'm going to look.
Anyone in chat, if you want, you can guide the raid for some Mappa coins.
Or if you haven't spent them yet, you can spend them on in the July challenge, which is me doing a 48-hour stream of what you're seeing right now on the screen, Gran Turismo 4, which will be the 24 hours of Lasarth and the 24 hours of Lasarth, but without chicanes. Which means
Vroom. Oh, actually, there was another thing that leaked that we should briefly talk about, which is the banned words on the Amazon employee chat app.
Wait, what? Hold on, wait.
So apparently Amazon has an internal employee chat app, and there's a banned word list leaked, which includes I hate, union, fire, terminated, compensation, pay raise, bullying, harassment, I don't care, rude, this is concerning, stupid, this is dumb, prison, threat, petition, grievance, injustice, diversity, ethics, fairness, accessibility, vaccine, senior ops, living wage, representation, unfair, favoritism, rate, TOT, unite/unity, plantation, slave labor, master, concerned, freedom, restrooms, robots, trash, committee, and coalition.
That's concerning.
Yeah, Amazon, working for Amazon, it fucking sucks.
Sure sounds like it.
Sounds like you're working for a fucking slavery corporation.
Yes.
Like, bruh.
Great.
Bruh.
Well,
I'm looking. I am looking. Anyone want to see me raid a specific game? I can do that, because I don't know what to raid. Thank you both for
Just
bringing
scrolling through a
suggestions.
memes channel now to see if there's anything of note.
Oh, understandable.
I was right on time.
I don't think we're gonna raid anyone in the end, honestly. Yeah, I mean, we could check
Ain't heard it like this time.
the brand new gacha game. I can, you know what? I'm gonna rate Sick Gal. He's playing one of the new like you know, those kinds of games like a Genshin Impact and shit like that, which has a DILF.
Hold
dog
on.
man.
If anyone wants more information, by the way, in the Trump community, Legal Eagle has made videos basically calling this decision fucking shit.
Because it is. But that's besides the point.
The lawyers on YouTube are calling this decision bad. All right, everyone basically who isn't just a MAGA cultist is calling this a terrible decision. It's like, oh, just in case a president is ever found criminally liable, something that has never happened before, for anything that isn't, you know, actual criminal. Even like Richard Nixon wasn't found criminally liable. Granted, that's because he resigned and then immediately got pardoned of any possible wrongdoing, but still. It's never happened. It's never been a problem.
Until the man-child.
Yeah, no. And it's not even like they haven't done anything that would arguably be considered criminal. FDR sent the fucking Japanese to internment camps during World War II. That was a thing that happened. because California was racist against Asians. And like on that
Checks
note,
out,
like, my mother,
considering.
my mother posted a picture on Facebook that's basically just summing the whole thing up. It's just a picture of Auschwitz with the caption, "It was an official act." That's all you need to know about the decision to understand how terrible it is. All you need to know. And with that, I see the raid has begun. We'll see you next week for the Room of Thought. Hopefully PMD&D will be back next week. Sometime, hopefully, maybe soon, we'll do a Left 4 Dead stream with the lads.
Probably Saturday. Or
Yeah.
Tuesday, depending. Those are the very.
We shall see. Have an excellent rest of your week, and may we all please stop living in interesting times.
And also, thank you for all the fish.
The Emperor has committed many... I refuse to let democracy die to thunderous applause.
Anyway,
Yep.
next week is gonna be the same as per usual. We're gonna do Satorubo DLC, the downloadable DLC that I did get to do. So we have the internet missions to do. We have the Crew 2 on Tuesday. I don't know what other games I'll do on Tuesday, considering we finished Sonic Mania. I'll have to see what games I have. Wednesday is gonna be Moimon Emerald. We're gonna be trying to get the funny looking Reggies. And probably continue with Hard Gold Soul Silver. But yeah, and the same is gonna be probably for the next rest of the week. We'll have a stream on Friday. Anyway, bye bye! Thank you so much for playing my game.
Bye bye.
And we are off.
Peace out.